Today I'm going to show you how to fix a Synology RackStation with model number RS815 Plus, and the issue that the customer was experiencing was that there was no power at all. When I press the power button, I'm getting no response at all, so let's open it up and take a closer look inside. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick. I started Nick's Electronics Repair over a decade ago, and since then have fixed hundreds of Synology servers. When we do experience dead no power faults, typically I'm going to look at the power supply first. So our power supply connects into this board over here. I'm going to disconnect the main connector. And what we're going to do is plug in our power supply tester. We'll plug in the power supply and let's take a look. So we do have two missing voltages, one of them being our negative 12 volts, the other one being a positive 12 volts. We do have a secondary 12 volts over here that is present, however. For comparison, let's plug in this good power supply. We have our 12 volts over here is present, 11.7, but we still have one missing. Now, I do believe that that's actually normal, and that's because this power supply tester is expecting two separate positive 12 volts, which these power supplies are not supposed to provide. But at least it is providing the positive and the negative 12 volts, and that is what we're supposed to see, whereas the original in here was only providing one of the positive 12 volts and not the negative 12 volts. Now, I could probably just install this replacement power supply and get the unit up and running, but I want to open up the power supply itself and see if this is something we might be able to fix on a component level. Let's disconnect the other two connectors and unscrew the power supply. If you have a defective server that you would like to send in for us to fix, we do offer flat rate services which come with a 1-year warranty. Those are available on our website, which I'll link in the description down below. All right, and I'm actually seeing a couple issues right off the bat. So we have a couple electrolytic capacitors, one over here and one over here. And both of those you can tell are domed at the very top. We have another electrolytic capacitor here and down here and here. And those you can see that the tops are very flat, whereas this one and this one are domed. So that tells me that both this one and this one are defective. This should be something that we can go ahead and fix on a component level simply by replacing those two electrolytic capacitors. So let's remove the circuit board further, and then we'll go ahead and desolder them and replace them. And for the desoldering process, we're going to switch over to the microscope. So our joints for the capacitor are this one right here and this one over here. I'm adding a little bit of solder to each joint first to get good flow. And I'm hanging out on the joint for just a couple seconds to more or less preheat the area before I introduce my desolder wick, which should absorb all of the solder. And if I move, oh, there we go. It just fell through. So that's our first capacitor. And as you can see, it is domed at the top. It's bulging out. And this is a 2200 microfarad, 16 volts. And this is our replacement. So as you can see, one of them is very flat at the top. The other one is bulging. And when looking for orientation, we can see the black bar on the bottom here. That indicates our negative. And we have our negative side marked with the negative symbol on the capacitor. And what I'll do is bend the leads out a little bit to lock in the capacitor. And now we can solder it in. We'll cut off the leads. And let's check out the second one. It's right over here. It's going to be this pin right here. And this pin over here. And we're using the same process. We're preheating the area just a little bit. I can move that pin around so it's properly desoldered. Okay, now it looks like it's loose as well. And let's see, can we remove it? There we go. Now this one is a 1500 microfarad 10 volt. And same thing, you can see it's a little bit bulged at the top. Now I have a small dilemma because my replacement components are much larger. And part of the reason for is I don't have a 1500 microfarad 10 volts. The ones I have are rated for all the way up to 25 volts. So it's okay to have a higher rated component for the voltage, as long as the microfarad is an exact match. So we're gonna try and see if we can feed this replacement through. Oh, there we go. Unfortunately, this is about as far as I can go. I think that'll be okay though. All right, let's give the area a quick clean. We're using isopropyl alcohol and a brush. We're just going to remove some of the leftover flux residue. All right, let's go ahead and put the circuit board back in the power supply, and then we'll test again to see if we can now get our 12 volts. So I just finished putting the box back together, and originally I was a little concerned with the height of that second capacitor we replaced. But if we look at it under the microscope, we have a 1/4 inch all the way up to maybe even a 1/2 or a 1/3 of an inch extra space. So we could have used actually a longer one as well. All right, let's go ahead and plug it in and do some live test. Let's take a look here. No, unfortunately, I'm still not getting my 12 volts. We're gonna plug it back into the server here and do a quick check, make sure I'm not going crazy. If I press my power button, wait a minute, I am going crazy. Look at that. Our green light is on and my fans are spinning. Well, you can't see the fan spinning because it's spinning too fast. But it does look like we actually have functionality. Yeah, the status light just came on green. Look at that. So it might beep here in just a second. And it just did, so it fully initialized. Okay, so replacing those two capacitors did indeed repair the power supply. The unit is now able to boot. It was completely dead, no power first, but I am a little bit confused as to why we're not getting that extra 12 volt line. I was doing a comparison between our replacement and the original, and it does look like the original actually has one fewer output lines for the 12 volts. This one has a redundant one, so that's why it had a difference on our power supply tester. Now, then it means that the appropriate voltages were present on the original power supply, and yet it wasn't working. And that's because this only looks at the voltages and not the amperage. When we have capacitor failures, usually it will affect the amperage output, so that total output of power from the power supply to the motherboard to the auxiliary parts. So that's one of the disadvantages of this tester, is that it will not give you a full comprehensive diagnostic of the power supply. But it does look like replacing those two capacitors did fix our server, so that will complete our video. If you have found the video helpful or useful, make sure to leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.